Hey, it's Mr. G. In this video, I'm going to explain how to do all 20 questions on one of the SAT No Calculator math sections. I've linked the test I'm using in the description, as well as the videos explaining how to do these concepts in depth, as I'm going at a pace that allows you to finish this section in the allotted 25 minutes. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Anyway, let's get started. For number 1, if x minus 1 all over 3 equals k, and k equals 3, what is the value of x? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite x minus 1 over 3, and then equals, what I'm going to do is take this k equals 3 and plug it in here, so I get all of this equals 3. Now what I could do is break this fraction up, x over 3 minus 1/3, but I'm not going to do that because I think it's easier to just multiply both sides by the denominator here. So I'm going to multiply this side by 3 and this side by 3. These cancel, I get x minus 1 equals 3 times 3 is 9. Add 1 on both sides to finish it up. I get x equals 10, so choice D is my answer. Number 2, for I equals the square root of negative 1, what is the sum of 7 plus 3i plus negative 8 plus 9i? Well, here we're just adding complex numbers, so what you could do is line them up vertically if you wanted to. You don't need to do this. I have my negative 8 plus 9i, here we go. So what I'm just going to do is add my real component and then add my imaginary component. So 7 plus negative 8 is going to be negative 1, and then 3i plus 9i is positive 12i, and that is going to be choice A right there. Number 3, on Saturday afternoon, Armand sent M text messages each hour for 5 hours, and Tyrone sent P text messages each hour for 4 hours. Which of the following represents the total number of messages sent by Armand and Tyrone on Saturday afternoon? Well, for Armand, M is the number of text messages per hour, and then 5 is the number of hours. So if I multiply 5 times M, I get the total messages that Armand sent. And then for Tyrone, he sent P messages for 4 hours. Okay, so P messages per hour for 4 hours. So that is 4 times P. So if I add these up, then I get my total number of messages that they both sent. So 5M plus 4P, which is going to be choice C. Number 4, Kathy is a repair technician for a phone company. Each week she receives a batch of phones that need repairs. The number of phones that she has left to fix at the end of each day can be estimated with the equation P equals 108 minus 23D, where P is the number of phones left and D is the number of days she had worked that week. What is the meaning of the value 108 in this equation? Well, if I have P equals 108, that means that my D value right here is going to equal 0. Okay, so that means 0 days that she had worked this week. So that means at the beginning of the week that she still has 108 phones to fix. So that's going to be choice B because Kathy starts each week with 108 phones to fix. These other ones don't make sense, and choice B is our answer. Number 5, the quantity x squared y minus 3y squared plus 5xy squared minus the quantity negative x squared y plus 3xy squared minus 3y squared. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression above? All I need to do is just simplify this, and then I'll find whatever answer that is. Okay, so you could line these up vertically and subtract, but I'm going to show another way. I'm just going to distribute this negative and then combine my like terms. Remember, like terms have identical variable parts. So I'm going to rewrite x squared y minus 3y squared plus 5xy squared, and then I'm going to distribute this negative, so I get positive x squared y minus 3xy squared, and then plus 3y squared. Okay, well, I'm going to find my like terms. So I have an x squared y and an x squared y. So I have this and this, so that's 2x squared y. And then I have a negative 3y squared and a positive 3y squared. Those are going to cancel out. Then I have a 5xy squared and then a minus 3xy squared. So those are going to be positive 2xy squared. So I just have to find the option that has both of these terms in it. So 2x squared y and 2xy squared. And that is going to be choice C. And that's my answer. Number 6, h equals 3a plus 28.6. A pediatrician uses this model above to estimate the height h of a boy in inches in terms of the boy's age a in years between the ages 2 and 5. Based on the model, what is the estimated increase in inches of a boy's height each year? Well, if you look at this equation, it is similar to y equals mx plus b, which is the equation for a line or a linear relationship. And the number being multiplied by our input variable, in this case a, is going to be the slope or the rate of change. Okay, so 3 is the rate of change. So how many inches does the boy grow per year? And our question is asking how many inches per year the boy's height is going to increase. So our slope here is going to be 3. So 3 is going to be our answer. Number 7. The formula above gives the monthly payment M needed to pay off a loan of P dollars at R% annual interest over N months. Which of the following gives P in terms of M, R, and N? Now, this whole formula up here looks pretty complicated, but you actually don't need to know all of this, okay? What you need to do is figure out how to get from M alone to P alone. And P is just being multiplied by this big ugly fraction. So all I need to do to cancel out this multiplication of a fraction is multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction. So I want to figure out which answer has the reciprocal of this being multiplied by M, because that's what P is going to equal. So I want to find this expression on the top of the fraction, this expression on the bottom of the fraction, and then all being multiplied by M. And if you notice, that is going to be choice B right here. See, this numerator right here is the same as this denominator right here, and then this numerator is the same as this denominator. So our answer is going to be B. Number 8, if A over B equals 2, what is the value of 4B over A? Well, I notice that I have a B over A here in this, which is the reciprocal of what's given to me, A over B. So if I take the reciprocal of both sides of this equation, I get B over A equals, so the reciprocal of the left side is going to equal the reciprocal of the right side. The reciprocal of 2 is 1 over 2. So if I rewrite this right here as 4 times B over A, well, I know B over A is equal to 1/2. So I can just rewrite this as 4 times 1/2, which is 2, and choice C is going to be my answer. Number 9, I have a system of equations, 3x plus 4y equals negative 23 and 2y minus x equals negative 19. What is the solution xy to the system of equations above? Well, you could check all these answers by plugging in, but since this is the no calculator section, I would not recommend doing this. I'm going to solve this by using elimination. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3x plus 4y equals negative 23, and then I'm going to move this x term over to the left just to line up my variables, negative x, and then I have plus 2y equals negative 19. Remember, you can move terms as long as you bring the signs with them. Okay, now I'm going to multiply this equation by 3 to get my coefficients to be the same, or at least the same absolute value. So I'm going to write the top equation, 3x plus 4y equals negative 23, and then negative 3x plus 6y. See, I'm distributing this 3 to every single term in my equation. And then negative 19 times 3 is negative 57. You could do that out if you wanted to. Now I'm going to add these equations because these are opposite signs. So these cancel. I get 0. This becomes 10y. And then notice I have the same signs, so I'll still get a negative. And then I have a 0 plus 1, and I get 80. So I can get rid of this. So I get 10y equals negative 80, divide 10. Divide 10, so I get y equals negative 8. And notice, B is my only answer where y is equal to negative 8. So I can just pick B before I take this y and plug it back in for x. Now, if you wanted to check your answer, you can do that. But if you want to find a quick answer, you can just pick that and be done with the problem. Anyway, that's the answer. Number 10, g of x equals ax squared plus 24. For the given function g defined above, a is a constant and g of 4 equals 8. What is the value of g of negative 4? Well, if g of 4 equals 8, I know that 8 equals a times 4 squared plus 24. I just used this information given to me to plug in here. I took the 8 and plugged it in for the g of x, and then the 4 would be my input, so I plugged that in for x. Okay, so now I'm just going to solve this for a. So 4 squared is 16, and then if I subtract 24, I get negative 16 equals 16a, which means a equals negative 1. So now this answer is here to trick us because it gives us this negative 1 as an option, but we want g of negative 4. So what I'm going to do is rewrite this as g of negative 4 equals my a value, negative 1, times, and then my input is negative 4, quantity squared, plus 24. Okay, so this becomes 16 times negative 1 is negative 16, plus 24, well, that's going to be positive 8. And that is my answer, choice A. Number 11, b equals 2.35 plus 0.25x, c equals 1.75 plus 0.40x. In the equation above, b and c represent the price per pound in dollars of beef and chicken respectively, X weeks after July 1st during last summer. What was the price per pound of beef when it was equal to the price per pound of chicken? So when I set these equal, I'm actually going to get rid of all the decimals, because if you notice, they all have decimals to the hundredths place. So if I multiply both sides of the equation, I'm going to write by 100. I can just ignore the decimals if you wanted to. You don't need to do this, but it's helpful to me. So I get 235 plus 25x equals 175 plus 40x. So what I'm going to do is move my terms to one side, my variable terms to one side, and my constants to the other side. So negative 25x on both sides, and then negative 175 on both sides. So this is going to give me 15x, because these cancel, and then when I do this, I get a 0, borrow, I get a 6, and that's it. So 15x equals 60. So then I get my x is going to be 4 after I divide by 15 on both sides. So now I just have to plug this 4 back into one of these equations up here. It does not matter which one I do. I'm going to pick b because I know that 0.25 times 4 is equal to 1. So this is going to give me 1 and then plus 2.35, and I know that's going to be 3.35, so that's going to be choice D. Number 12. A line in the xy plane passes through the origin and has a slope of 1/7. Which of the following points lies on the line? Well, I know the origin is the ordered pair 0, 0, and my slope is 1/7. So my slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, well, b is the y-intercept, and in this case, that's going to be the origin, so this is going to be 0, so I can ignore this. And my slope is m, and that's 1/7, so my equation is y equals 1/7 x. And I just need to figure out which one of these ordered pairs lies on the line. And if you plug these in very quickly, you can tell that only one of these is going to work, and it's going to be choice D, because 14 times 1/7 equals 2, and that's the only one that's going to work. The other ones aren't. So choice D is our answer. For number 13, if x is greater than 3, which of the following is equivalent to 1 over x plus 2 plus 1 over x plus 3? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is worry about my denominator of this big fraction. It's very messy. So what I'm going to do to add these is get like denominators. So I'm going to multiply x plus 2 times x plus 3, and then x plus 3 times x plus 2, so I can get a common denominator, and then I'll multiply the tops by the same. So this will be multiplied by x plus 3, this will be multiplied by x plus 2. So I know I'm going to have x plus 3 over, and then if I do x plus 2 times x plus 3, I get x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6, so that's x squared plus 5x plus 6. So I'm going to write this product back up here. So x squared plus 5x plus 6 plus x plus 2 over x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now I'm going to combine these. So this is going to be 2x plus 5 over x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now, this whole thing is equal to the bottom of my fraction. So what I need to do is take the reciprocal of this. So it's going to be x squared plus 5x plus 6 over 2x plus 5. I'm just flipping the top and bottoms. So this is one of my answers. This is going to be answer B, so I know I am done. Number 14. If 3x minus y equals 12, what is the value of 8 to the power of x over 2 to the power of y? So the way I'm going to simplify this expression is actually rewrite this as a different base. So 8 can be written as 2 to the power of 3. So I write this as 2 to the power of 3 to the x over 2 to the y. This is the same thing as, well, I can multiply the 3 and the x. So I get 2 to the 3x over 2 to the y. And if I use my subtraction of exponents rule, this is going to become 2 to the 3x minus y. Well, look, I know 3x minus y is equal to 12. So this whole thing is equal to 2 to the power of 12, because I know this is equal to 12, and that's going to be choice A. 15. If quantity ax plus 2 times the quantity bx plus 7 equals 15x squared plus cx plus 14 for all values of x and a plus b equals 8. What are the two possible values for c? So first thing I'm going to do is multiply these out. So if I FOIL it, I'll do ax times bx is abx squared. And then ax times 7 is 7ax plus 2 times bx, that's 2bx. And then 2 times 7 is 14. Now what I'm going to do is line these terms up with these, and that's going to help me solve this. So I'll do that in green now. So I have 15x squared plus cx plus 14. Now I want to use the fact that these are lined up to help me figure out what my values of a, b, and c are. So I know that a times b has to equal 15. And if I factor out my x here, I can rewrite this as 7a plus 2b times x. So I know that c has to equal 7a plus 2b. Okay? Now, I know that a plus b has to equal 8, so I know that a and b have to be 3 and 5. Okay? So this answer is here to trick us. 3 plus 5 does equal 8 and does multiply to 15. Okay? So I'm going to use that to figure out what my c value is. So if a is 3 and b is 5, I do 3 times a, which is 21, plus 2 times 5, which is 10. So 31 is one of my possible answers. And now you can use this to figure out that my answer is going to be D, because that's the only option where 31 is an answer. Now, if you wanted to, you could plug in these in reverse. 5 times A is 35, plus 6 times 2 is 41. So that is our answer. But once you find 31, you know that choice D is going to be your answer. Number 16, if t is greater than 0 and t squared minus 4 equals 0, what is the value of t? Well, I know that my t value is going to be positive, so what I can do is just add 4 on both sides. I get t squared equals 4. And then I'm going to take the positive square root of both sides. Normally, I would take the negative square root of both sides as well, but since I know my answer has to be positive, I know that t is going to equal 2. 17. A summer camp counselor wants to find a length x in feet across a lake as represented in the sketch above. The lengths represented by AB, EB, BD, and CD on the sketch were determined to be 1,800 feet, 1,400 feet, 700 feet, and 800 feet respectively. Segments AC and DC intersect at B, and angle AEB and CDB have the same measure. What is the value of x? First, I'm going to label my diagram. So I know AB is 1,800 feet. I know EB is 1,400 feet. BD is 700 feet. And then CD is 800 feet. And I know that these triangles are going to be similar because I have this angle and this angle that are the same, and then these two angles are vertical angles. Anytime we have intersecting lines, the angles across from each other are going to be vertical, so these are the same as well. So I know I can write a proportion because similar triangles have proportional side lengths. Okay, well, 14 is double 700, so that means that this side, 800, is going to be half of x, or x is going to be double 800, so this is going to be 1,600. If you wanted to write a proportion, it could have been like this. 1,400 over 700 equals x over 800. And then you could easily solve that to figure out that your missing value is going to be 1,600 feet. And that's how to do number 16. Number 18, x plus y equals negative 9, x plus 2y equals negative 25. According to the system of equations above, what is the value of x? So since I'm only finding x, I'm going to solve this differently than I normally would. Normally, I could see that I could just eliminate these x's right away. But since I'm solving for x, the quickest way that I think I'm going to do is multiply this top equation by 2 and then use elimination. So I get 2x plus 2y equals negative 18. And then I have x plus 2y equals negative 25. And if you see why I did that, if I subtract these two equations, the two y's are going to cancel, and 2x minus x is going to give me my x value right away. So if I subtract these, I get 2x minus x is x, these cancel, and then negative 18 minus negative 25 is the same thing as negative 18 plus 25, which is positive 7. And that's my answer. Number 19. In a right triangle, one angle measures x degrees, where sine of x equals 4 over 5. What is the cosine of 90 minus x? So what we're going to do is remember our SOHCAHTOA. where we have sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan equals opposite over adjacent. Now, we don't need tan here because I don't have a tan function here. But what I would also recommend doing is drawing a quick little diagram of a right triangle. So I'll call this x. And what's useful here is, since this is x and this is 90 degrees, this actually has to be 90 minus x. So I know that my sine is equal to 4 over 5, so sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. So if I take sine of this, it's the opposite, so that's going to be 4 over my hypotenuse, which is going to be 5. Now you can kind of tell this is going to be a 3, 4, 5 special right triangle, but that's not even necessary here. What is necessary is if we take the cosine of 90 minus x, which is going to be this angle, it's going to be the adjacent, which is this one, over the hypotenuse, which is going to be the exact same thing as 4/5. So I know my answer is 4/5, and that's how to do number 19. Number 20, if a equals 5 radical 2 and 2a equals radical 2x, what is the value of x? Well, what I'm going to do is plug this in for this, so I get 2 times 5 radical 2. Well, that's just going to be 10 radical 2, and that equals radical 2x. So what I can do here is get this 10 inside of the radical. So we got this 10 out of the radical by factoring out what 10 squared is, which is inside. So if I rewrote this as radical 100 times radical 2 equals radical 2x, then I can now combine these 100s. And if you see where I got this, I just did 10 squared and then took the square root of that. So the radical 100 times radical 2 is radical 200 equals radical 2x. So I can ignore the radicals now and I get 200 equals 2x, which means x has to equal 100. So that's how to do number 20. If you liked this video, if it helped you out, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions on any of the math I did, be sure to leave a comment. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot.